Hi guys, welcome to Learn Electronics Repair and this week's dose of car booty. So I have two computers again. These are, well, one isn't a retro machine, one might be a retro machine. The same guy had these two and they were €10 each, he said, but he also says they don't work. So this one I had a look at. So this I would not class as retro. It's got USB 3 on there. And there is also a couple of USB 3 on here. So this is an I something or other if I'm lucky, and a seller one if I'm not lucky. Third, fourth generation onwards, something like that. So I have this one. And then the other one was a bit difficult to get into, so I didn't get into, but it may well be a retro machine. It says Windows XP on the front, so yeah, 50-50 on that one. So the guy had these, he wanted €10 each. And I had a look at this one, said, oh, go on, I'll take the one as well. And I offered him 15 for the two. He said, yeah, sure. At which point I thought, damn, I should have offered him 10. But anyway, €15 for two machines this week. So let's see if I have my money's worth. So this one we'll start with. I did have a quick look inside this, so I basically know what's in this one. And you guys will know too in a moment. Oh, I took the wrong side off. Okay, you guys will know in an extra moment. Okay, that's the wrong side. I've done that once before, a long time ago. Let's try this side. Yeah, it's that. So this is an ASUS motherboard. Obviously there's a processor in there, there's some RAM in here. This is DDR3, so third or fourth generation. There's a model number on it. Is it 885? Or? No, it's a B85M. I think that's a B. Very strange font to use. B85M-G. So 85 like a H85 or whatever. This you would think would be like a third generation. I think that's the right chipset for third gen. No hard drive fitted in it, but for the price I paid, $750, I might have a profit out of this one. The case isn't in the worst of condition, I will also add. But he says it doesn't work, so if it doesn't work, I'm going to take this motherboard out and let's have a look to see what we can do with it. Here's the motherboard. We have a LAN card, which is interesting because this has LAN anyway, unless that's 100 megabits and this is faster maybe. Yeah, this is the faster 1 gigabit. Okay, so that's a little PCIe one. Actually, although the bracket's a little bit rusty, so actually could be quite useful that, so okay. If it works. RAM. Yeah, it's a 4 gig. This looks the same, the other one. Oh, a bit stiff that. Okay, that's also a 4 gig. So we have 8 gig of RAM on here. We can just check to see if there's any short on the VRM high side. Well, one side's ground anyway. Oh, this is faulty. 2.5, 1.7. That's got short circuit high side MOSFET somewhere. Let's have a look at what CPU we have here. CPU might be dead actually if it's got a short circuit high side MOSFET. Well, at least he was an honest trader. He did tell me it wasn't working. He's absolutely correct. What do we have? CPU. Oh, it's an i3-4160, so it's nothing very powerful either. I may have another motherboard I can test that in. a bit of excessive heatsink compound on here as well. Actually, I'm just going to put this back in for a moment so I don't get that compound into the socket. And now let's just try to get rid of that. Well, it's very flaky actually, it came off easily enough. It's not sticky. Right, just get rid of that. So which phase is this short on? If it is a MOSFET. I'm just looking down here, I'm just checking to see if any of this heatsink compound went into here. Just brush gently in the direction of the pins. Yeah, it's okay. Just a little bit messy. I'll just get the air thing. Detlef gave me this and it's really handy. Very good for blowing dust out of things. Right. Let's see where the short is. Well, we were seeing a low resistance from the 12 volts to ground. So what we were seeing is actually the resistance of the CPU. I'll show you in a moment. That's actually gone away now, I would think. Okay. Unless there's something else wrong, like a shorted PCH or something, because that's on the same rail. And there might be because of the fact we have short circuit MOSFETs. We have 3 inductors here, so there are 3 phases. And we can see, yeah, 1, 2, 3 high side, and then 1, 2, 3 low side. And then these chips here are something else, okay? As I said, the short should have disappeared now from the 12 volts. It's still there, it's just that it was the resistance of the CPU, which is very low. So that reads 0.9. That now climbs up high. So this side obviously is ground anyway, these two. And then you see that's climbing up high, okay. That again tells me the short's in the high side. So effectively I was measuring from here through whatever shorted into the CPU. Quickest way to tell was to measure across all of the inductor coils with the ESR meter. Also, by the way, because the short has now gone away when I take the CPU out, it means I don't have a short on the low side MOSFETs, okay? Otherwise it would still be there. Now, measure across the inductors, and if one reads very low compared to the others, then that's the phase with the short on. There could be more than one. So that reads 0.05, that's very low, a bit lower now, it's going down. That reads much higher. That reads much higher. So this is the phase with the short. Okay, told you how simple that was, yeah? I think I kind of invented that technique a few years ago on this channel. I'd never seen anybody else do it before that. So we know which one it is. If we measured with a multimeter, we would just see a short across all of them. That's why we had to use that method. So if I just go from here to here, we see a short or close to it. This one, same. This one, same, because they're all in parallel, yeah. This looks like the gate. You see there's like a resistor here going to this one, and this one. I can see now all those 4 pins are connected together. Okay, so drain goes to 12 volts. These are the source, which go down to the inductors. Okay. And then this is the gate. So what I want to check now is the resistance from the gate to source on all of them to see if they're the same. If we have a short through to the gate as well, it may well have damaged the VRM controller that's driving all these. So let's have a look. So from gate to source, 249, what's this one read? 8.2K, do you see that? 8.2K again. So this one reads much lower. Now, that could just be a problem in the MOSFET, or it could be a problem with the controller. So what I need to do is unsolder this one and check them all again. This one is right next to a capacitor, you can see. So I'm going to unsolder the capacitor first. I'll need a lot of heat, hot air to get this off, because these are heavy power planes basically. And if I don't take this off first, it may explode. And if it doesn't explode, it may well be stressed by the heat anyway. So the best thing to do is to take that off first. I can always put it back on afterwards. And it won't affect the reading I want to make on the gate either. Okay, that's off. One of the holes is clear. I'll just try and get the other one. I'll probably have to put a bit of solder back into that one. If I warm this up with the hot air a little bit, and I have plenty of flux on, as you can see, I should be able to use the braid to unsolder this. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Time to remove this MOSFET. I'll add some leaded solder, but bear in mind there's a big tab under here anyway, which connects to ground. I won't bother to put any capped on tape over here. It just makes it more difficult because you need to get a lot of heat into this lot. If I'm lucky, these little resistors won't go anywhere. If I'm lucky, one might go astray, or the little capacitor. But bear in mind, I can check to see what the value is if I do lose one. Okay. Have some 1 ohm resistors here, by the way. These will be current sense, I would say, one for each phase. So I think it's worth just checking these. Yeah, reads 1.8, but the meter is only 0, it's about 0.8 anyway. So that's 1 is okay, this one is okay, and this one is also okay. Leaded solder. Can't easily get any onto the pins, unfortunately. And this side I have this resistor very close, so let's try this. C210 tip, okay. Well, that got some solder on there. Let's try the other side. Yeah, still can't get any on that side, never mind. Right, let's unsolder this with hot air. I'll just try to warm the whole area up a little bit first, and then concentrate on the MOSFET. Slipped a bit, but it's off. Here's the MOSFET. Let's just check this. And it certainly is short, so we were correct. And I'll just put the CPU back in, and then we can see if the short on the 12 volts is now gone. So ground, 12 volts. I'll switch back to ohms range. Yeah, we can, now it's reading into the kilo ohms, yeah. So the short's gone. What's this MOSFET? M3054M. It seems to me, no matter how many MOSFETs I have, I never have the one that I want. Just typical. Anyway, that's the MOSFET. Now the question is, has the controller been damaged? So the controller will be this chip. This is definitely the controller. I know that just from looking at it. QFN chip, you can see it there. What I'm going to do now is check down the resistance again from the gate to the source. Now it looks like I might have a solder bridge there, do you see it? From desoldering the MOSFET, so let's just get rid of that first. Okay, now they should all read the same. You might ask, yeah, but Rich, those ones still have the MOSFETs fitted. Remember, a MOSFET from the gate to the source is basically open circuit. It doesn't read anything. So whether those are there or whether they're not there, I can still make a good comparison here, okay? So let's see, from the gate, now reads 8.2K, the same. Let's have a look to see what this chip is. Well, it says VRM DigiPlus, how about that? Yeah, ASP1253, and there's another number. Let's see if that is the correct one. We'll look up the data sheet. Yeah, I can, it's there, ASP1253, so that's a couple of euros, 189 shipping. So €4 a bit less, and I don't pay the 21% tax anyway. So that's available and it's cheap. MOSFETs? Yeah. Oh, this seller, very good by the way. I use them a lot, this particular one, if I have that option. I've never had a problem with anything from these guys. So they are 115 for 5 plus 122 shipping, so another €2.50. Right, I'm gonna fix this one. I'll explain to you why actually. So it won't cost much to fix. It'll be an interesting video, so let's make a video while we're doing it. I would get a pack of 5 of these and I would just try changing that first and see if it works. If it doesn't work, I would change this as well. The fact that the gate reads the same to ground on all of them tells me there's an extremely good chance that this is okay. Normally if they fail, then you'll find that the gate resistance to the ground is much lower on the one or ones that have failed, okay? Why would I fix it? Well, this is a 4th generation i3. Now, I've been putting together some refurbished machines for a local call centre. I did 3 for him last week and they were all matching the sort of machines he already has. So these are 2nd, 3rd, 4th generation, whatever, basically. And the call centre only uses for one specific task, which is managing the call software, basically. So those machines are more than powerful enough to do that. And I get a decent price for them, actually. So I put an SSD on, I put 8 gig of RAM. This already has 8 gig of RAM. And they run Windows 10. Yeah. Actually, I say they run Windows 10. Some of their machines actually run Windows 7, but the software they use works on both, and they're quite happy with that. Okay, so definitely worth fixing, I would say, for the cost of it. I mean, we're looking at like €5 worth of bits, and probably only have to change that MOSFET. And I guess you guys would be interested to see if this actually works once I've done it. Okay, I've got CPUs. If that CPU is faulty, I have some lying around, so we can find out at the time. So that's what we're going to do with this one. Now, I did say I may have a retro machine as well, so let's have a look at that. And here is the other machine. This is a DELL computer. That lifts up. Interesting. Okay. It says Pentium 4 at the bottom, so this could be a socket 478 with AGP. It could be a LGA 775 with PCIe, or it could be something else in between. Yeah. It's very heavy, I'll say that. It also has quite a lot of cards in, so this looks like a game port and a couple of FireWire. This is 4 USBs, this is a LAN card, sound card, video card. So there's quite a lot of stuff in this. It's well populated, shall we say. As to whether this is really retro or not, I don't know. I didn't open this on the day. Wasn't sure how to get into it, but I think there's a big button on top here that might have something to do with it. So I don't actually honestly know what's in here, but this was part of this thing where I offered the guy €15 for the two, and he said, yeah, of course, and I should have offered him 10, I'm sure. Anyway, so this owes me €7.50. Let's have a look to see what's inside it. I have noted there's only 2 USBs on this, so it could be an early one, so it could be an AGP machine. I've certainly seen DELL computers with AGP in. So there is a button on here, which I assume means it helps us to get in one way or another. I don't think that lifts up. Oh, maybe the side comes off. This is like a Chinese puzzle, so to speak, yeah. How do I get into this thing? Well, without actually breaking it, I'm in. Ugh. I have an AGP machine and a hard drive which is kind of fell out from somewhere. And quite a lot of cards in it. Okay, I'm going to take this thing apart to see what I actually have, and let's see if it is actually worth anything. Here's the motherboard. It's a bit of a strange size. I think it probably would fit into an ATX case. It's just a bit unusual layout. A little bit wider in this direction. The fan was kind of like built into the back, so it had like a cowling which fits over here. So this is your processor. This must be socket 478, it looks like it. It's still attached to this metal tray at the moment. Oh, 256 meg, so they're not very big ones really. Look, you see, that's what a rim looks like. Then we have a lot of add-on cards, as we know. So this is the PCI LAN card. Probably isn't really worth anything. Bin for that one. This is the PCI USB. Maybe slightly worth more something than the LAN card was, but not a lot. Notice there's one internal one and 4 external. This is the sound card. So this is a Sound Blaster Live 5.1. These are not worth a great deal of money, but they have some value. I just want to straighten a little bit. Almost done it. Okay, so SB0220. I've had these before. I think they're worth about £20. This is the funny card of what I said was a game port, but it's not. It's got 3 rows, Luke. This is a capture card of some description. Yeah, somebody probably spotted that originally, so you were quicker than me. No, this is not a game port. These are Firewire. It's a Pinnacle Callisto. You can see there. I don't know if that's actually of any value these days, to be quite honest. Just interesting a little bit. And this is the graphics card. So this is quite big for an AGP graphics card. GeForce 4. So I've had the GeForce 4 MX200s and MX400s before. This is much larger. Fan spins freely, that's nice. Do I have any more information on this one? Revision A02. Model P83. And another sticker. So yeah, it's a GeForce 4. I don't know if that's the same as the GeForce 4 MX200s and 400s that I've seen. Yeah. Maybe worth something. And again, the motherboard with RAM bus may be worth something. So the first thing, he says this doesn't work. Let's connect a known good power supply to this and let's see what it does. But as we did in the last one, let's check for any shorts on the VRM first. So ground. One side will be ground anyway, so that's fine. So this is climbing up nicely, that's what it should do, so there's no short circuit there. I think the best thing to do with this is to power it up. This doesn't have any onboard video. I don't have a video card in at the moment, which is okay. I know there's no shorts on the 12 volt. I took this off the front panel of the machine because it has a rather strange connector for the switch, the power on, and to save me figuring out which one it is, well, I have it here now. Okay, I have the analyzer card plugged in. Power on. Power on. Does it start? Oh, it does start by itself. And it looks like it's booting. But he said this doesn't work. This may be stuck in a loop now. Don't know. Stops with 0, 1. Oh no, it's still going. And then it bleeps. Maybe to say there's no graphics card. Let's put the graphics card in that came with this. So this, actually thinking about it now, in one of my retro PCs, I have a AGP GeForce 4 Ti. And this might be something like that. It's a bit smaller than this one, I seem to remember. And there's a 4 Ti, I think there's like a 4200 and a 4600 or something like that. And one is worth quite a bit more than the other. And mine is the cheaper one of the two because I couldn't afford the more expensive one of the two. It's something I actually bought myself. It didn't come in as a retro car boot thing, okay? But I had it for a few years. I think the price has gone up since then. So let's put this in here. I have to just prop something under the edge of this so it doesn't push back out. Okay. Let's attach a monitor. I'll put the capture card on. And let's see if this works. So, one capture card, you can see it. Power on. Start. Oh, it does work. What do we have? Well, it doesn't tell us what the graphics card is. It's just saying invalid configuration. I'll have to attach a keyboard to this. Okay, and I'll attach the hard drive that came with it as well. So that looks promising. I'll change the CMOS battery as well. I'm sure that must be flat. Okay, let's go again and see if we can get into the BIOS. It's saying F2. Okay, yeah. Oh, interesting. 2 GHz Pentium 4. Okay. This was probably quite a decent machine in its day, to be quite honest. I don't have the hard drive attached at the moment. I don't see any option to restore defaults actually. Well, escape to exit, what do we get? Oh, it just exits, maybe it saves. Let's try attaching a hard drive to this, the one that came with it. Yeah, so this is the hard drive, this is a 200 gig, let's put it on there. I think it's now trying to boot from the floppy. Okay guys, it now sees the hard drive, but it just crashes as soon as it tries to boot from it. So I'd say that hard drive is rather screwed. But the machine itself's working, the graphics card appears to work. Let's have a look to see what we have here and if it's worth anything. Well, the motherboard's about £30, but those are basically on offer. One at 19. Let's see if anybody actually bought any of these though. Yeah, that one's sold, but you can't say how much. Probably, yeah, 25, 23.99. That's a different board though. That one is the right board. So we're going to say 20, 25 pounds, something like that. Yeah. That had the RAM bus memory on as well, okay. Yeah, it's had 4, I only have 2. So about £20 maybe the motherboard with the RAM. This won't have any value, to be honest. This one, I think, is probably about £20. Let's have a look, SB0220. So, in the sold listings again. Oh, 36, that's sold for. But that one only sold for £3.20. How about that? That was in auction, this was on a buy it now. Another one sold for 12. Interesting, that one sold a lot more than the others. You do wonder why. Another one sold for 30, 15. So the price of these is kind of all over the place. So I'm going to stick £20. I think you all agree with that. So 20, so about 40 for the motherboard, the RAM and the sound card. This I don't think is really worth anything, but let's have a look. Well, that's exactly the same one, and one actually did sell for £18. So add another 18 on, why not? Yeah, 58. I mean, that's sold not so long ago. And this graphics card, I think actually might be worth something. Let's see. I was struggling to find the exact one, but this one says it's an NVIDIA Model P83, which tells me it is a GeForce 4 Ti 4600. I think the one I have is a 4400. There's a 4800, which I'm guessing is worth more money. Okay, so GeForce 4 Ti 4600. We can look for that on eBay and see if any of these have sold. Okay, so GeForce 4 Ti 4600. I see some for sale, but this is parts only at £41, £41, £49. These are all parts only, okay. Can I see any parts only for £195? Nice. I see one for sale there at £145, okay. Let's look in the sold listings and see what we have. Well, one sold 4 days ago for £186.70. That one went on an offer, less than 124. That sold 168. But that's for a Mac. This is a PC. AGP, I think, is a PC, that one. Another one, 108, took an offer. So I think we can say that this thing is worth at least £100 and maybe more. I'm interested to see what the 4800s are fetching. Well, similar sort of price, to be quite honest. And I think mine too might be a 4400. I need to have a look. About 65. Okay. So there is a difference in price. But even these are fetching pretty good money. Huh? You like that? So guys, that's the star of the show by the looks of it. £100 at least, yeah. The only problem with this is when I find things like this, which are nice, they tend to end up in my machines. They don't tend to get sold. So, unless I'm really tempted by somebody, that one will probably end up in my machine, and I'll probably sell the 4400 if that's what I have. I will go and double check to see what I have. It's not as physically as big as this one, I can say that much, but I don't know. Okay guys, I don't know what you think of that video, but I hope you did like it. Yeah, goes to show what you can pick up for €7.50. That one, yeah, star of the show. Whole machine, €7.50. So that's all for this week, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon on Learning Electronics Repair. Ciao for now, guys.